retro-real presence.
Welcome to one of the most terrifying haunted house stories in history, the Amityville Horror. Today, we're diving deep into the story of a family who found themselves in the grip of unexplainable terror, battling forces beyond their control, a nightmare that would haunt not just them, but the world for decades. In the peaceful suburban town of Amityville, New York, there stood a house that appeared as ordinary as any other, a beautiful Dutch colonial structure. The house was distinctive with its gambrel roof and the iconic quarter-moon windows that seemed to watch anyone who passed by. But behind this seemingly peaceful exterior, a horrific tragedy had taken place. In November 1974, the Amityville house became the scene of a chilling murder. Ronald DeFeo Jr., a young man from a well-off family, shocked the nation when he brutally murdered his parents and 4 younger siblings in the dead of night. Ronald claimed he was driven to kill by voices, malevolent whispers that ordered him to commit the unthinkable. People in town couldn't believe it. The DeFeos had seemed like a normal family. 1 year after the murders, George and Kathy Lutz saw the house listed at an astonishingly low price. They couldn't believe their luck. A house like this, with so much space and charm, was a dream come true. But as they walked through the rooms with their 3 children, they were keenly aware of the house's tragic past. Kathy, a religious woman, hesitated for a moment. Could they truly be happy in a place where such darkness had taken root? But George brushed off her concerns, reassuring her that houses don't have memories, or so they thought. The Lutz family moved in on December 18, 1975, filled with hope and excitement for a new beginning. They spent their first day setting up the furniture and exploring each room. George admired the basement, imagining it as his personal workshop, while the children picked out their bedrooms with joy. On their first night, the family's joy began to crack. George found himself waking up at exactly 3:15 a.m., the same time the murders had occurred. He felt a deep chill run through his body, one he couldn't shake no matter how many blankets he used. At first, they dismissed it as jitters. After all, moving can be stressful. But each night, George continued to wake at the same exact time, haunted by a feeling he couldn't explain. Strange noises echoed through the hallways, scratching sounds in the walls, and an overpowering putrid smell would randomly appear and vanish just as quickly. As the days wore on, the activity in the house became increasingly aggressive. Kathy felt an icy hand brush against her cheek as she walked down the hallway. But when she looked around, no one was there. She began having visions of a demon with red, glowing eyes staring at her from the dark corners of rooms. The children started to complain of nightmares and terrifying apparitions. One night, their young daughter, Missy, spoke of an imaginary friend named Jody, but Jody wasn't a friend. According to Missy, Jody was a pig-like creature with glowing red eyes who appeared in her room at night, watching her from the window. George was beginning to change. He spent hours in the basement, as if something was drawing him there. In the basement, he found a small, secret room painted completely red, a room that hadn't been in the house's blueprints. This room seemed to have a strange hold over him, affecting his mind in disturbing ways. He would sit, staring at the walls, feeling as though he was being watched. His personality grew darker. He was short-tempered, distant, and paranoid. Kathy grew fearful, not just of the house, but of George himself. Was the house's dark energy taking over her husband? After weeks of torment, the family experienced a night so terrifying it drove them out for good. The walls seemed to vibrate, an oppressive force pushed down on them, and the air grew thick with the smell of decay. They heard screams coming from every corner, and shadows flitted across the room as if something sinister was watching. As a last straw, they witnessed green slime oozing from the walls, an unearthly substance that left them horrified. In sheer terror, they fled the house, never to return. Their dream home had become a living nightmare. As dawn broke on a cold January morning, the Lutz family finally fled the Amityville house, leaving behind all their belongings and never looking back. Their nightmare became a tale that would echo through history, leaving us to wonder, was it just their minds playing tricks, Or did something truly evil reside within those walls? To this day, the Amityville Horror stands as one of the most infamous hauntings ever recorded, challenging our beliefs and chilling our souls. The story of the Amityville Horror caught the attention of paranormal investigators Ed and Lorraine Warren. Known for their expertise in dealing with dark forces, the Warrens arrived at the house, intent on uncovering the truth. Lorraine Warren, a clairvoyant, felt an evil presence almost immediately, and she sensed a demonic energy lurking in the basement.